bringing the smoke already, man. We talking. We ain't even started the show. But we already talking. I'm over here with Mr. Matt Waters in the house. He's been coming to the church a few weeks or whatnot. He's running for office. So we having a conversation, and we just not talking for the first time besides, hey, how you doing by on Sunday? Because on Sunday, man, I be everywhere. And so anyway, we're here. We're going to let him introduce himself. So we right here on Bring the Smoke. So this is camera, right? All right, so that's your camera. That's my camera. You can look wherever you want to go.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And I'm running for office, so I'm going to put my my Republican run for office hat on.
Go ahead.
Here, House District 70, Newport News.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the the body politic here. And
I really be forgetting what number is what. I be forgetting my own number. So, what seat are you running for? I got
so
70.
so here in Virginia they flipped everything last year,
Yeah,
right?
that's what
happened. So nobody knows what 70 is, right?
'Cause some people moved. They went down the middle of somebody's house and they ended up having to move. They next door neighbor was still in the same district. They had to move all the way somewhere else just to run again for the same seat.
That's right. That's right. So Dr. Maxwell, thank you for having me again. And your church is fantastic. I'm going to go in 10 different directions, but let me stay in the political lane.
Go ahead, let's go. Bam.
Yeah, for a second. This is a new district in Virginia. They did redistricting to make it more balanced, black and white, get all the different races. One wasn't gerrymandered one way or the other. That's fine. I think most of Virginians agreed with that. And so I'm running as a Republican in a Democrat district. It's mostly Democrat. The party called and asked me to do it, and I've run before statewide. I was a Libertarian nominee in 2018. Hopefully that tells you that I can work across party lines. I took on Corey Stewart and I took on Tim Kaine. I took both the Republican and the Democrat on. And I know you're sort of an independent. I know you got that streak in you.
Well, see, I'm a leader, so I gotta be, I gotta be able to go between both sides. Because whoever in office, I gotta work with.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, and you're speaking from the bigger pulpit, right? Not the political pulpit, but the pulpit, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's a whole different. That's kingdom of God work,
yes, sir.
Not kingdom of men work. You talk about let's go vertical, not horizontal. And it's hard to do a little bit of both, especially get in the political arena, right? But I'm a father of 5. Been married 25 years this September. Got kids aged from 23 down to 11. And I've been blessed with running my own business. I grew up in Hampton Roads, went to school in Newport News. I was born at Riverside Hospital. I was born again at Riverside Baptist Church down the road.
Oh, look at it. He stayed out of the river.
Yeah, that's it. I'm looking at the James River right now. It's right out the window. And so I know the area. I love the area. And, unfortunately, the area, like the nickname for the city, let's be real. What is it? You know what the nickname is?
No, you go ahead and say it.
It's bad news.
I want you to say
right?
it. Don't
you Google it. Newport News is bad news. Why is it bad news? And this is a great city.
Yes.
It's a great city and great people. We do great manufacturing. And so my campaign slogan is good news for a change.
Oh, okay.
And good news, now you can read that a couple different ways. As a believer in Christ, there is some good news. I think we have to start with that. I think we have to start with the gospel. In relationships, you have that pyramid, right? So you got husband and wife, and if Christ is here, the closer you get to Christ, the closer you're all growing together.
All right.
And I think black and white, Asian, rich and poor, whatever it is, we put Christ at the top, we're going to grow closer together.
Exactly.
And we start there, right? So that goes beyond political parties. That goes beyond race and economics, all that sort of thing. If we have Christ as our center point, as our anchor, then we can have a conversation.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad I'm getting to know you on the air. Look at this, man. We just out here. Somebody said, did you vet him already? I'm like, I vet him on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't had time to look up anything. I was like, he came to church. He said, let's talk. And I said, you know what? he called the office. I said, Ashley, just tell her to be on Bring the Smoke. So we'll do both. We'll feed him and everything, treat him good, kind of figure out, what's going on.
Absolutely.
So you know, me, I don't know anything. I didn't do any research. I'm researching for y'all right now, so don't talk about me. I'm doing your research right now. You didn't know either. So who you running against or whatnot?
Yeah, so the Democrat in this district is Shelley Simons. And
he's trying to get me in trouble now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know your relationship
now.
So
he trying to get me in trouble. Now go ahead, man.
Look,
I'm just playing, man. I gotta do what I gotta do, man. You know what I'm saying? He came to church.
Man, hey.
Go ahead.
Hey, look.
4 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah.
A whole month of Sunday. You know how they say they ain't see you in a month of Sunday? Well, I saw him a whole month.
No. Look.
No, go ahead,
Look. Not only that.
He trying to get me crucified.
Not only that.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
But I did read your book too on leadership.
Yes. What?
So listen. I bought the book. I paid.
Winning.
I paid the $20. I paid the read it. Look, and I gave it to my campaign staff to read. I said, y'all gonna read the book.
No, they got to buy their own. You messing up now. He bootlegging now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He dubbing the tapes. Remember that? He burning DVDs, man.
So look, the book is outstanding.
Yeah.
And look, I tell you what. So
I don't care.
Look, I came to the church. Now again, I had no idea you had a podcast. I didn't know the TV. You're televised on Sunday morning. I had no idea. But I went to the website. I got your video. I looked at probably 10 different pastors, preachers, etc. I thought, man, this guy's a leader.
Wow.
Now, it didn't surprise me your book is on leadership.
Wow.
It didn't surprise me. I saw leadership. I said, it makes sense, right?
Yes.
And you're doing other things in the community. I get it. So, you're on the ground, your ears on the ground. And for a white Republican to talk to and communicate to African Americans, what Martin Luther King said is still true, largely, on Sunday morning. You know what I'm talking about?
Most segregated place in America.
So look, I'm going to the all Greek church. I go to the all Korean church. I've been to the all Hispanic church. I've been to the all black church. And all white church, by the way. So look, it just is what it is. I'm not even going to get involved. But look, praise God, they're worshiping Christ.
Yes.
All right. So let's go back to the anchor. That's the starting point for me.
Yes.
So if that's our starting point, right? What are the and I don't think Jesus. People say, "Oh, Jesus Republican." I think that's kind of it's a rabbit trail. I don't think Jesus was. I think he mostly. We're individuals. We're judged. He came to the woman at the well. He called Philip while he was under the tree. He calls individuals. He gets in individuals' lives. And we're going to be judged as individuals on the judgment day. He ain't going to judge a community or a neighborhood or an organization. He's going to judge you and me.
Yes.
And we have to stand or fall on what we did or didn't do.
Yes, sir.
And so, my whole thing is, look, politics is that horizontal thing that does some things.
Yeah.
Right. But where the action happens is a Sunday morning, right? And frankly, at home in your prayer closet on your knees. That's where it's happening when you're opening the scriptures up. That's where God is moving and calls people to Himself, to a better life, to this doctrine of forgiveness. I mean, Christianity is built on this thing called forgiveness,
yes.
right? And there are a lot of things happening in our country today. And again, the Christ message, the Christ who calls us to forgiveness, we need to put that in action.
Yeah.
We really need that. We really need that message today more than this country's needed it in a long, long time. So that's part of my platform. I realize that you can't do a whole lot as a state delegate in Virginia. I mean, you have 2 months. Frankly, it's a 2-month job assignment. They don't pay you very much money anyway, and it takes away from what you're supposed to be doing, right? And okay, that's fine. But I do have a couple things. I do believe in school choice. I do believe in parochial, private, charter schools. And, we homeschooled 5 kids. The most I ever paid at any one year for all 5 was about $12,000. Do you realize in Virginia we're paying $18,500 for one kid? Now, what I would love to do...
You go to HRT?
What do what?
Go to Hampton Roads Academy?
Well, whatever. But say, Mom, Dad...
You said 18,000.
Say 18, yeah, right. So say, hey, Mom, Dad, you got 5 kids. Here's $20,000 for a junior, Here's $25,000 here. You decide where you put your kid. Now, there are a lot of people who don't like that, including my opponent. They say, oh, you're trying to blow up the school system. No. What I'm trying to do is empower moms and dads to get out of certain zip codes to be free from, what the Education Association teaches, et cetera. I'm not saying that there's not a place for the Education Association. There is. I mean, they run education in the state of Virginia. Reality, that's the reality. My opponent sits on the board of the Education Association. But education in Newport News needs work. We have 45 K through 12 schools. We have 27,000 kids. A lot of them are failing. We can do better. And you know what? We have done better. Right? We have done better. So I think empowering moms and dads. Republicans always talk about parental rights. Well, there's also a thing called parental responsibilities, right? What's the responsibility for mom and dad or a guardian, whoever that is, to put, junior in school? What does that look like? What does that mean, right? And so we need to have that conversation. The other thing, I'm a big believer in enterprise zones, opportunity zones.
Time out.
Yes.
We can go there in a minute.
Yes.
You done opened up education.
Oh, go.
I got to go there since you're Republican.
Yeah, please.
First of all, I believe in school choice, even though I'm mostly Democrat, because I was a private school person. Now, you probably ain't going to get $25,000, $20,000. I'm going to let y'all know that. You probably will get 6, 7, 8. Each child they put hate to say it, a worth on them according if they're regular ed, special ed, or if they're gifted or whatnot. But it's definitely not going to be $20,000, so don't get that happy. Say that right now. You might get 8, but to go towards it. But I'm a supporter of that because it gives you the choice. And I do like charter schools. I like public schools. I've been in both, and I believe you should be able to have that choice. And thank God, I ain't running no more. I'm gonna say what I feel like saying. But since you're a Republican, what's your definition of CRT? Critical race theory. Give me your definition.
Well, my definition is, look, it started from the 1619 Project. A bunch of historians put it together and said, hey, this is the view of America. As I understand, it was built on slavery, built for slavery, built from, it focuses, on slavery and enslaved people. I would agree with the historians have taken exception with that view. And said, no, that's a bending of history. I look at someone like Crispus Attucks, right, who was enslaved, got his freedom, was in Boston, and was a whaler in Boston, Massachusetts. And when the British were pushing us around a little bit and some action was happening on March the 7th, 1770, he got some guys, went up and confronted the British soldiers. And he was the first guy killed in America, an African-American killed, Revolutionary War. And from March that day, 1770 to 1776, for 5 years, George Washington, the founding fathers, celebrated that day and him for what he did, right? We don't read that in the history books, and we kind of, okay, well, that may. Yeah. And so Crispus Attucks dies a martyr for this country, and oh, by the way, 5,000 black patriots fought in the Revolutionary War against the British. Again, I think to emphasize any one thing on any subject, right? It's like reading our Bible, for example. I'm a Reformed Protestant. I come from the John Calvin, Martin Luther. Okay, fine. You can see the Bible, everything's predestined, chosen, election. You can see it. If that's kind of your jam, you can kind of go down that road and everything's that, right? But you can also see it, well, maybe there's some end time stuff here, maybe from here to here, some end times, or covenant theology. There are different views on it. So I think if we just sink on one thing, I think that's a mistake.
Right. I think what people need to know is the definition, because what I don't like about the Republicans is the sound bites.
Yeah.
Youngkin made a sound bite and politicized and began to attack black history the same way that Santos and other people. That has nothing to do with critical race theory. Critical race theory is a theory.
Yeah.
Critical race theory is why were people enslaved? Why were they enslaved? Why were banks treating black people differently? To say, why did they redline and say, okay, this is a black person, so we're not going to get them a loan no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the theory behind it. It's not black history. And then they began to weaponize it. Your party began to weaponize it and call critical race theory black history, but it's not black history. It's the theory of why. It's something that they don't even teach in schools. So what I get tired of is, I'm not attacking you, but I need you to educate your party since you don't bring the smoke. I need you to understand that critical race theory is not black history. Mm-hmm. So when people weaponize it saying that critical race theory is black history, that's not it. And then they began to attack a whole people and try to water down our history. They don't tell Jewish people to forget the Holocaust. They don't tell Japanese, they don't tell the Asians to forget Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Right? They don't tell us to forget 9/11.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they always want to tell the black people, forget my history as if because you have to know your history to know where you're going. But that is not critical race theory. It's not critical race theory. That's the only thing I really hate about the Republicans.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying you in that, but I need y'all to understand that it was weaponized by a few people up top.
Yeah.
And nobody really researched it, but I'm a former educator, special educator, teacher, science teacher, administrator, and principal. And so I need people to understand, because my job is when I meet a white person that don't know about my people, or a black person, or you meet me and I don't know something, I need everybody to understand that critical race theory is not black history. And so the reason why I definitely support school choice is I'm definitely starting school next year, because I got to be able to educate my people. Because America is trying to whitewash the history of my people. For somebody to sit up there and say that slavery benefited me, and I'm sitting up here, hell, slavery benefited white people, right? That's what it benefited. Because I mean, you were able, not you, but you're able to build a country free. And like King said, man, you know, when white people needed loans or whatnot, they gave them land in the West and the Midwest, even help them, train them how to get certain trades, and didn't even ask for some of the money back. But then they told us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Hell, we didn't have no boots. You start having history and you say, okay, get away from me. And then I go to Tulsa and I build up and they blow it up, right? Then, you know, anytime you start coming up, they begin to attack the situation. In Atlanta, fastest, quickest, the most real estate sold for the past 50 years has been Atlanta, Georgia, right? And that's mostly African American, right? But every time they kept changing the rules. So you can't buy but a certain amount of houses, because if you buy this many houses, you can't do it. Y'all didn't even know about this because you in Virginia, but they tried to make a rule. But if I go outside in Augusta, which is still in Georgia, and I use a white man to be my front person, I bought houses all the time. One time he couldn't be there, so I had to go, and it was like, oh, because my name is Willard. Yeah. Willard Maxwell. So I sound white, but I'm not. And so I had the white man go in and sign my paperwork to make sure I'm able to get all these houses, right? And so they go in there, well, why did you use him? You don't have to use him. You could have done, no, I needed to use him because y'all wouldn't let me buy that many houses because this crazy rule that you all have, but you're really trying to keep me from buying. Because black people making money in real estate, and they understood the game in Atlanta. And so now you're trying to change the rule. So the only thing I'm saying is, I believe you're a real Christian. You done came to church 4 times. You can't lie too many times. You come 3-4 times in a row, you gotta really be a Christian message to me, because I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna talk about Republicans, Democrats, everybody. I'm gonna talk about white people, black people, everybody. I'm gonna hit the truth. So if you could come to me 4 weeks in a row, I know you ain't just coming just to come.
No.
But I need you to educate your party and let them know CRT is critical race theory is not black history. And if you're gonna erase our history, erase your history. You want to talk?
I would say this, Pastor. I would say this. Look, I think there's a whitewash. I think there's also somewhat of a blackwashing, right? Let me push back a little bit.
Push back.
Right? So I went to Thomas Nelson Community College. Thomas Nelson was the second governor of Virginia. He fought alongside Washington in the Revolutionary War. When the Patriots were firing on the Brits, the Brits had taken over his home. Yeah, you can still go see it right down the street. He's got cannonballs on the side of his house.
Get out of here.
And guess who fired the shot?
Who?
Nelson. They said, Lord Nelson, this is your house. He said, give me the match. He struck it and shot on his own house because the Brits were in there. Look, did he own slaves? Yeah, he sure did. Patrick Henry owned slaves, first governor, give me liberty, give me death. Look, these guys got, in 1776, name one country that had outlawed slavery. There were none. The first one was the British, I think maybe Brazil, and then the U.S. early on. And what the slave traders did in 1804 when we outlawed it is they said, well, we won't import them from Africa, but we'll still keep them, right? So they like you said about what in the land of real estate, they played the game.
Exactly.
Okay, they played the game. All right. But when you take down Thomas Nelson from the community college and you erase Patrick Henry and you erase John Tyler, who was a president, by the way, Tyler, Texas. My kid goes to school in Tyler, Texas, LeTourneau University, named after President John Tyler from Virginia. Or you want all these guys had slaves, most of them, right? Not perfect. Neither was Dr. King. Different kind of. My point is, none of us are perfect, and in that time, it was a very different time. Women had no rights either. Women didn't have right to vote till 1935 or something. So, I was in Italy, and here's my point. They had fascism, communism, all kind of isms, bad things. Nero, who killed Christians, they have the Colosseum. You could walk in the Colosseum where they killed Christians. Did they knock it down? Say, we're not going to do it anymore? No. They had their history in context and said, look, this was not good. This Colosseum is a beautiful thing. You can walk around and look at it, but there were Christians who were killed here by lions. Does that mean you just get rid of it? Does it say, Italian history? No. They have Nero and Caesar. In Nero, we talk about Revelation. Nero, who's persecuting, killing Christians, wiping them out. So they didn't dodge it. They just said, look, we're not going to celebrate either, but this is just what it is. We had the Neros. We had the Mussolinis. We had a lot of bad stuff here. Mm-hmm. So in America, too, I think we need to not just take things down and rename them. Like take the Cleveland Indians. They named what they call the Cleveland Guardians or something, right?
I didn't know
so
they renamed
They renamed the Indians. Okay, the Indian.
They renamed the Cleveland Indians?
They did, a couple years. So why do you do that? So here's my problem with it, right? The Washington Redskins. You get rid of the Redskins, right? Look, it's virtue signaling. It's easy to change, not easy, it's hard, but still, it's easier to change the name of a professional sports franchise than to actually go into the Indian community, roll up your sleeves and say, we're going to deal with alcoholism, gambling addiction, early onset, all the things that community deals with. Oh, we'll just change the name so everything will be better. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we've got to do more than that.
Yeah, then you got to go through the history because most of that stuff because the history and the trauma, that they went through. So it's hard to dodge that, but I see what you're saying. See, This is what I like about my dude, Mayor Maynard Jackson. That's why the only thing, Dre, I don't agree about when y'all talk about Maynard Jackson in the song is Jackson was a cool dude. Y'all my people Outkast, I love you. But I had to go on and put that out there. So Maynard Jackson, because he realized, white people want all these monuments. And so what he did was he said, all right, we're going to build you a multi-million-dollar place to put all your Confederate stuff.
Yeah.
But in exchange, make sure when you go to the airport, you have 50-50. You have 50% minority business, 50% majority businesses inside the airport. Boom. Everybody was happy for a minute. But then what they realized was, we don't care about having this in the museum. We just want to put this out here to piss off black people. So I'm just keeping it 100.
Yeah.
They were cool with the museum for a minute. Then they was like, hold on, man. I think we got the short end of the stick because we just got this museum and they got jobs. But it's 50-50 and it's not even 50% black. Yeah. It's just 50% minority. So I think some of it is, you can give and take or whatnot. I'm just saying with me, teach all the true history. I don't go out here worried about taking down monuments because at the end of the day, it's a flipping monument. Yeah. And we'll fight about a monument as if you gave me territory. So we definitely on the same page when you talk about that. I don't care about a monument. I don't care about that. But don't tell me that I'm supposed to just cancel my whole history and try to act like everything was just peaches and cream. That's my only thing. No question. And weaponizing CRT, which is not even black history. Well, so most people that vote are ignorant. Let's keep it 100. Most people that vote, I ain't gonna say they vote, I vote, but I'm saying a lot of people are ignorant of information is what I'm trying to say. I ain't know you, I'm getting to know you now, but I wouldn't vote before I knew you, but I'm taking the time to get to know you now. You understand?
Yep.
So even though I hang around, Shelly Simon, I got to sit up there and get to know, hey, what is he about? You know, you bold enough to come here and talk to me. You're a Republican, so you must got some type of good. You know what I'm saying? We both blindside each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you gonna say. We ain't even met. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we keeping it real right here.
Absolutely.
But and my thing is, only thing I ask you as a Republican is to educate your people on CRT because it was just weaponized. I just don't like soundbite stuff that is not fact.
Yeah.
It's not fact. And I'm an educator, so it irritates me. And I have so many of my white colleagues that come argue with me about what CRT is, but they don't have a doctorate degree in education. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't go to school and teach and put curriculums together with SACS. Right? They didn't SACS as far as, Southern Accreditation of Colleges and Schools. They didn't accreditate.
Yeah.
They didn't sit up there and accredit private schools, public schools, and counties. I've done that. Yet they want to tell me what CRT is when I put curriculums together because of something Youngkin said. Because of something some person that didn't even go to school for what I went to school for. And so that's the only thing that irritates me. You're right. And
that's the only thing.
That's the only thing.
That's a little.
That's the only thing. Only thing is this. This. Only two people y'all done had that I absolutely don't like is Trump and DeSantis. At the end of the day, as a Republican or a Democrat, as long as you have some type of morals, I'm cool. And Youngkin kind of getting there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's keep it 100. I meet him, I talk, it seems good, but then certain policies they throw out makes absolutely no sense to my people. But I do like some Republicans. I happen to like you because you keep it real.
Yeah.
I like that. You got to keep it real. I like that. I like you keep it real.
I ran as a libertarian, right? So I took on Corey. I called Corey Stewart. I called him Confederate Corey, right? That was his nickname. And Confederate Corey and I. And
look, he worse than me. He bringing more smoke. I got a big house. He run the smoke right now. Say that one more time, dude. So, you got to give him that one. You called him Confederate Corey.
Confederate Corey. and Corey.
Oh, dude, okay. So, that was a good one.
Yeah. So this is why I ran against Corey. I said, look. And by the way, I got to know him, and he was a decent guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a decent guy, right? But so look, and even Youngkin, I've taken exception to some of his positions. I mean, look, there's things I'm not even going to get into because I am running as a Republican. There's things I got to be careful.
I say it for you. Don't worry about it.
But you said it.
Don't worry about it. You got to say that.
Listen, Reverend, I left the Republican Party I'll tell you. I tell you 3 reasons I left the Republican Party. Bob Dole, John Warner, who's the other guy? Tom Davis. Just kind of milk toast. So, Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was speak no ill of your fellow Republican. Well, John Warner ran an independent and knocked Ollie North out of the race, and Ollie North would have beat Chuck Robb. And, so he pulled Marshall Coleman out as an independent, and he defeated Oliver North, who I was supporting and raising money for. So I thought I thought, man, why would you do that, right? Why are you going to hit your own, right? Tom Davis, just a milk to, and Bob Dole, same kind of, boy, these Republicans. Now, let me say something about,
Bob Dole was different.
Bob Dole's running mate, Jack Kemp. Let's talk about Jack Kemp.
Okay, go ahead.
Why inspiration? For my third plank, which is enterprise zones, that comes from Jack Kemp. Empowerment zones. We had a seminar in downtown Newport News with then candidate George Allen, Vin Weber, Congressman, and Jack Kemp. Room, all African American. I was the one white guy, and plus those guys in the room.
Yeah.
Talking about what does an empowerment zone look like, blah, blah, blah.
Like this guy.
So listen, Kemp comes in, and Allen showed up. He showed up, like I'm doing right here, said, hey, let's what can we do to make this better, right? And by the way, it's working. If you go down to downtown Newport News today, it's looking pretty good.
I got a lot of houses downtown.
I'm telling you, that whole area is coming up.
I'm sitting on them until
right?
I got we done filled a lot of houses.
Yeah.
They even gave me an award from HR Cap for what we doing to build up the communities, Maxwell Realty, In Touch, and New Beach Grove. So it's like, I definitely understand the empowerment zone. Keep talking.
I think someone said they called it a shift. There's a shift happening.
Look at him.
Come on.
He got game, man. He got game. He got game. He been listening, man. You know what I'm saying?
There's a shift
He go to church and actually listen. You know what I'm saying?
So
he good, man. He good.
Look,
he
there's
good.
a shift
He's
happening.
gonna get me in trouble. You already know they be mad at me anyway. They be mad. You talk to Republicans, and I talk to everybody.
Look, don't defend yourself,
No,
man. You don't
I
need
know,
to.
man.
You stand on the rock.
Yeah,
You don't
I'm
need to
standing
defend
on the
yourself.
rock, but I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm just put out what they're thinking.
So Alan shows up at this meeting.
Yeah.
And he wins. He's a Democrat. Where was he? Didn't show up. Didn't come to the community. Jack Kemp said, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that is profound. You know, as a pastor, right? You can say, oh, you can have all the theology you want, right? But they didn't even know you care about them. And it things through how you're doing it in the community and all the rest, right? So Kemp's one of my heroes on the right. He really is. He's a guy that said, he put his money where his mouth was. He walked the community. He talked to people that didn't look like him. And he did care. I went to church with Jack Kemp after he'd long since retired from politics. He got baptized. He was nearly 80 years old and finally got baptized.
Wow.
Amazing story. His wife was a believer her whole life, but he finally came to faith, a genuine faith. And we sit in Sunday school class, and he said, Matt, he tell me that all the time. They don't know they don't care what you know until they know that you care. You got to talk to people, and that's everybody. It's black, white, everybody, right? So, so that's kind of my political, look, you run it as a public servant. You're serving the public. That's everybody.
Yes.
I got my little agenda over here. You sure I do. But when you bring that little agenda out to the state house or to the preacher's house, whatever, there are a lot of different competing agendas in the room.
Yes.
And you're supposed to represent all of them. And say, build a consensus. Let's move this ball ahead. How are we going to win this game? How are all winners? Because we all want the same thing. We want kids to have a great education, have a safe community, have economic opportunities. We all want that for our children.
Yeah.
Black, white, yellow, green, doesn't matter what it is. So how do we get there? And that's a chat. And I don't have all the answers. I'm going to tell you right now. I've got some ideas, but I would go so far as to say, hey, put school uniforms on kids. Let's take the materialism out of it. All right. How about we segregate boys and girls? Because boys learn differently than girls, and they want to learn different things than girls, right? The stories they read are different. What draws them is different. Maybe we do something like that. Look, I'd put it all on the table right now, and let's shake it up. And with technology today, and the online learning that we came out of COVID, we learned about online learning. It's very sophisticated. There are a lot of interesting things that we could do. And I think all of it, at the center of that conversation needs to be the children. Yeah, the teachers are important. Yeah, our parents are important. But how are we going to get that kid to have success in this country, which has, you're successful. There are paths to success in this country that don't exist anywhere else. I was in Italy for 2 weeks. The average income in Italy is $30,000.
Followed you there.
Yeah, no, you don't want to go to Italy, you come home. But I was there for 2 weeks. My wife and I, we celebrated our anniversary. And so $30,000 average income. $30,000. It's about $60,000 in America. Italy is in a complete collapse right now. They're in a complete free fall. Economically, educationally, the corruption in the politics, corruption in sports, corruption in the church. The Roman church is there. It was fascinating. I came back, kissed the ground in America. Thank God I live in America, right? I thank God for this country because we do have opportunity. We do have education. We do have, talk about a safety net. A lot of countries don't even have a safety net, right? Where you get hard in your luck. There is no nonprofit sector in Europe. And one of the beautiful things about America is we've got a public sector, which is the government. We've got a private sector, which is Maxwell Realty, right? Then we have a nonprofit sector that is sort of a safety net, helping people, and in fact,
Stay right there, too. Yeah. Some of your Republicans, and maybe some of the Democrats, but I know a lot of times, they don't agree with nonprofits and having write-offs when people give. Like, why is that? I just want to know where their thought process comes from.
Republicans don't agree with them?
Well, some of them, it was a Republican guy. Maybe I'll call from Georgia. I'm from the dirty South, so maybe they didn't happen up here. But a lot of Republicans in Georgia, they were always trying to come against churches as far as nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I guess, too, because of some of the mega churches, but at the end of the day, that's who giving. I mean, for what we do, like the in-touch basketball and stuff like that, and these people giving, with 75% of the money, because the government take 25% anyway.
Right.
So you got people getting 70% of their money given to nonprofit organizations to help with homeless. Like we keep the homeless November through March, every day of the week from 6:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. every week, every day. I mean, we do after school programs, things like that. We partner with Boys and Girls Club, so they only have to pay like $25 for the whole year. And so Boys and Girls Club, they don't even pay rent there. They just help us clean and keep the COVID stuff down. That's what they do. So we have these partnerships, and when some of them began to come again, this before I got here though. So but in my mind, I don't know what they do here, but I do know in Georgia they were coming against, some of the Republicans are coming against the nonprofit organizations, saying that we don't want them to be able to get a write-off if you give to a nonprofit organization. But when people give, that's what helps undergird and keep some people stable. Like I have homeless people, which I need to go check on this house, because these people were putting shirts down the toilet. I digress. But I have homeless people in a house that I partner with Link, and they give certain amounts of money to make sure that they're able to stay there. I mean, what moved me so much was I told the young man, he was like, "What's this? What's this?" He kept pointing at. So I'm like, "What are you pointing at?" Then I said, "Are you talking about this?" And I touched the refrigerator. He didn't know what a refrigerator was. And so it just caused the emotion. And so when people give to nonprofit organizations, then I'm able to help put people in homes that I normally wouldn't be able to put in homes, because I can use those donations to help undergird expenses to put, to take care of these people who don't have anywhere to stay. So if it didn't get up here, that's good. But I know in Georgia it was there.
Interesting. I've worked for nonprofits my entire life, and what they represent economically and that social fabric, that safety net is critically important. And to your point about the churches, I'm going to go back and throw some history on you.
Go ahead.
In 1770, et cetera, the King George, when he was looking at all the unrest in America, said, "Hey, this is a Presbyterian revolt." And why did he say that? Because men were speaking in the pulpit about overthrowing the government.
Right.
And they were doing it quite regularly. Quite regularly. Right. So much so that they started to believe and say, "We got to overthrow the government. This is not, we're paying taxes for something over here, blah, 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 all that sort of thing." And so I believe in the pulpit you should have absolute 100% liberty to say whatever the heck you want to say, right? And there's coming a time right now, my son is going into the ministry, pastoral ministry.
Wow.
He's second year seminary. And there's going to come a time when the government's going to say, "Hey, you can talk about a lot of things, but that chapter over here in Leviticus, if you say something about that, we're going to come for your tax status, or we're going to come for you," right? That's already happening in places like Sweden and in Canada. You can't say certain things from the Holy Scriptures. Now that's crazy in a country that we pride ourselves on free speech, right? You should be able to say whatever you want to say, political, non-political, whatever. So, and you are a nonprofit church, and you are doing the good work. And like that's what the tithe is for. You tithe, and you're able to do these other things, right? Help missionaries. I saw what you did you did work, I think, in Kenya. Was it Kenya? Yeah, Kenya. So, and it's inspirational, right? If people say, "Oh, wow, I'm interacting with a whole different country.
Right.
I'm interacting with different." You open up, you got the DMV thing. Was that today?
That was Monday.
Yesterday. So you got
they served, I think, 49 people yesterday.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're opening up, right, and you're being a beacon of hope and light and good news in the community, saying, "Hey, look, we're gonna be there for you," and there's no exchange except that you're there for them, and it's the Christ model, right? Be that light, be that voice, and if they need a landing place, it's right over here.
Right.
Come over and see me. I'd love to see you Sunday morning and get the other things right in your life. So I digress, but what was your question?
I don't know, but I know one thing. No, I don't even know if I had a question. I would say this. I'm gonna go back to the vouchers and just make Democrats mad, even though that's who I affiliate with mostly. But when in Atlanta, in Georgia, we have a program called Georgia Gold. And that's how I was able to get a lot of African Americans into private school, and so they can offset some of the costs.
Yeah.
So Georgia Gold, like I said, it was a voucher system. So whatever money that, I hate to say this, they put a certain worth on you, not according to your race, but according with your disability or ability.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Or your mediocrity. Sorry, but that's how it was. And because I used to be I learned a lot about it because I used to be assistant principal over instruction at Dunwoody High School, and I learned how to make the schedules to get more money, because you get money according to what type of class you be. So I said, if I put gifted people and AP in the same room, I get more money. So I learned the whole matrix of it all, man. So I was making us a lot of money. I got irritated because in DeKalb County, I love y'all. Y'all definitely gave me my leadership skills. But in DeKalb County, you get this money, but if I earn more money for my school, they'll take that extra money and give it to another school. Like, hold on, I done done all this, this flipping money crunching, and I don't like doing detail. That's why I got Ashley and Donna and all them other people. I can handle the minutia, but I don't want to. But that was my job, to handle the minutia. And I get all these schedules together, and I get all this money, and my principal came to me and said, you know what? They took that money you made for us and they gave it to so and so. Like, well, they need to do their daggone schedule better and leave us anyway. I digress, like you said. At the end of the day, though, so each student has a certain money amount when it comes to the government, and then you get those vouchers. And that's what helped me build my school, my private school that I was over, and build my basketball team. I mean, I got some folks that went to my school that go in the league, you understand? And so I was getting people from other countries, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was like, shoot, I'll get people from Africa everywhere. Come on over here, man. Dude, it was crazy, man. It was on there. They did an ESPN special on us over at Newburgh because of the people that I brought there, but they wanted to come and they was reaching out. Yeah. But I was able to get them there because of the vouchers. So at the end of the day, Democrats, I love you, y'all, my people, but I believe in choice too, especially since, again, I know I'm gonna irritate you and your Republicans because of the way, I'm pissing both of y'all off. That's who I am. I like vouchers because of choice, and I like vouchers because I need to start a school so we can start whitewashing my people's history. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to teach the truth and everything. And so I appreciate y'all. So at the end of the day, this is my thing. Republicans do stuff that I like and irritate me. The Democrats do something I like and irritate me. I do something the Republicans like and irritate, and vice versa. So none of us are perfect. So leave us with a last word of what you want the people to know about you, or just word of wisdom.
I think, again, thanks for having me. Look, certainly I want your vote, right? Yeah, you vote for me, right? But I think the rhetoric's hot in America right now. Black, white, racism, he said, she said, all kind of things.
I'm gonna want to go to Montgomery, man. You about to take me to Montgomery style now. Hey, go ahead. I'm gonna leave that one alone. We ain't gonna mess your votes up. That'll be unfair. Go ahead. If I do that to you, I'll never have to do it to Shelley. Go ahead. We're gonna leave that one alone. Go ahead.
So look, we've got to be able to work across party lines. Mm-hmm. And do things beyond politics. Yes. And I think we just got to get beyond politics. Yes. I'm here. Oh my God, look, I've got a slot. Look, there are two slots in the course. There's a D slot and an R slot. And I, as third party, I ran a third party, so did you. Yeah. You can't, those slots, right. You just got to be able to, so I'm in one of those two slots. And I think we've got to communicate regardless who wins, loses. We got to talk.
Thank you.
We got to meet. Yes. We got to do things like, look, I'm going to your church. And is it uncomfortable? Yeah, absolutely. Do I love it? It's great. It's been so refreshing to connect, and I see things I didn't see. My scheduler, Misha, she asked a question. Misha, African American. Yeah. She's helped me along. Say, hey, okay, let's do this. She's my apostle. Wow. and my prayer leader. Yes. And so I brought her on, my first hire, even beyond a campaign manager, beyond a treasurer. She's my first hire. Wow. And leans conservative. I'd say, Republican partly, but conservative mostly. And so we're in a spiritual battle for this country, for our kids, what they're watching on TV, what they're listening to, and we have to take responsibility as parents, as Christians, and there has to be something higher that they aspire to. It can't be the cell phone. It can't be a TV program or a movie, whatever. There has to be something they aspire to higher, and that gets back to the central reason we're all here, right? So.
Yeah, and what I like is I hate when Republicans vote against stuff just because it's Democrats, and Democrats vote against stuff just because it's Republicans. I'm gonna just put my thought out there.
Yeah.
I don't believe you should have independents, Republicans, or Democrats. I think everybody's just daggone run. And whoever you run against, that's who you run against, and we just vote, because how can a house divided amongst itself stand?
Yeah.
And you can see the house crumbling because it's split into two parties. And I gotta, like when some of you all got mad at Chris Christie because he went to Obama for relief for his state. How ignorant is that? So he's supposed to let his people suffer and die because the president is a flipping Democrat, so he ain't supposed to go there for aid. Yeah. That is one of the most ignorant things I've seen my entire life. I ain't been here for 21 years, but you know what I'm saying. But seriously, it made absolutely no sense for people to vote against stuff just because it was a Democratic president. And I'm not saying the Democrats don't do the same thing, but that's just an example I remember the most, because I felt bad for him as a human being, the way people just ostracize him because he got relief for his state. What in the world? So what I want people to do is put the people over the politics, because if you really worried about the people, it'll make you come to cross party lines to do the right thing and not just combat against each other. I ain't realized how much the Republicans and the Democrats hate each other until I ran for office. I'm like, dang, they told me I hate Democrats and Republicans more than white people hate black people sometimes. I was like, my God, it was worse. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, it was crazy, man. You could feel the energy. And even though you're supposed to be running independent as a council person, but because we were running in November, it kind of made it more party. You had a Republican picking people, the Democrat, and it was just crazy. You're supposed to, on the local level, have a sense of independence so you can really make decisions because of the people.
That's right.
That's what really clicked to me.
Yeah.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me you should be bipartisan or nonpartisan, right? You should be nonpartisan on the local level to make sure you take care of the people. Yeah. So why don't you know that on the higher level? If you're really going to take care of the people, you should get rid of the daggone parties anyway. That's just my 2 cents on Bring the Smoke, because if I'm a Republican and I'm supposed to side with you just because I'm a Republican, or if I'm a Democrat, I'm supposed to vote for Shelley Simon and not you just because I'm a Democrat, you should vote because of who you feel like is the best thing. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it should not matter what the party is, it should matter what they stand for and what their integrity is. But that's not how we operate in America. That's why we're crumbling. That's why we're falling, because the Bible already tells you a house divided amongst itself can't stand it. We're divided, Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Christian, non-Christian. We always find the differences and make us, put us apart. But really, you know what we really should do? Celebrate the differences. Because, dude, if you preaching and you preaching and you preaching, who in the world gonna run the cameras? How in the world I'm gonna get the word out? How in the world I'm gonna get a podcast? If we all had the same thing. And what if I just had a camera, you had a camera, I had a camera, none of us got a job. Because we all doing the same daggone thing. And what we don't understand that we should celebrate our diversities, because that's the only way you get stuff done. Yeah. If you do the same thing I do, it'll never be done. I don't care if you got 20 Tom Brady's on the field, you're going to lose, because you need a center, you need a guard, you need a tackle, you need a safety, you need a wide receiver, cornerback, you need a running back, you need all those different key positions. You can't win a movement, you can't win life with everybody playing the same position. So if we agree on everything, nothing in America would be good, because if you don't have a different idea than me, like me, you stretched me, I'm sure I stretched you, because I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So it's an attack. They mad because the little statues of slavery gone, and we mad because you whitewashing history. Leave our statue alone, leave history. I get it. And fighting over it's tit for tat pettiness. And I don't even, that's all it is, straight petty. You know what I'm saying? They took our statue away. We're going to take away the history. You know what I'm saying? When they take away the history, we're going to take away the statue. Who cares about a flipping statue? I just want the daggone truth to be told.
Yeah.
Anyway,
amen.
We good, man. I'm done. Bring the smoke, man. My dude, Matt Waters. You got a web page or something they can go to?
MattWaters.com.
MattWaters.com. He'll put it under there to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Check it out.
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet you, brother.
Yeah. Been seeing you for 4 weeks.
I appreciate you. You'll see me again.
Yep. Hey, y'all, don't kill me. Just who I am. I'm going to talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, seriously, I'm going to talk to everybody, man. So the thing about it, if you want to be on Bring the Smoke, hit us up. If you got something to say. Now, if you ain't got nothing to say, I might act like I ain't get your number, your message, but I just may not call you back. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This book is a book I believe everyone should buy. Not just because I wrote it, but because this book was birthed out of pain. And you learn so much during those painful moments. This is called Leadership Growth, the Power and the Pain. You can't have the power unless you've been through the pain. Bishop Morton wrote the foreword. It's been endorsed as well by our former governor, Terry McAuliffe, and by our Newport News Sheriff Gabriel Morgan. I promise you this book will bless you. Please get it, not just for me, but to bless you. Go to WillardMaxwell.org or click on the links below, and I promise you this book will bless you. If you don't just buy it for yourself, buy it for someone else. It's a short read, but it's a powerful read. I've been getting testimonies all across the country, and I promise you it will bless your life.